in on us.
Uh-oh.
That would only mean they'll have to be editing.
Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
But your background is blurred, so I don't know if it would pick him up or not.
Well, the door's right here. The dog's gonna bark. Everything's gonna go crazy.
That's fine. All right.
His mom is tired of fighting with him and wanted to know if she could drop him off to me. I said, sure. My daughter's here. She's been sleeping for 13 hours.
Holy shit. Lucky child.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. She did move, so I know she's alive. She broke her wrist.
Yeah, I remember that was fairly recently, right?
Thursday.
Hi, people. We're back. It's Leftist Lens podcast where Matthew and I being James, talk about the goings-on of the past week through the perspective of rational, reasonable, sane, intelligent people like us. Hi, Matt.
Hi, James. Yeah, this has been a big week, but it's not by volume. It's by enormousness of the stories.
I said this before. We end every week saying, "I wonder what we're going to be talking about next week." Nobody picked these topics. This was not in the grab bag of what we thought was going to be talked about, to a degree, but still the same. Holy shit!
I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have guessed either one of these. All right, we're going to start out with the government shutdown, which we talked about last week. And last week there was no end to sight. And surprise, surprise, this week it's over.
It was all for. It was all for. Let me. No. It's all for nothing.
All for nothing.
All for nothing. What?
So here's the problem. So last Tuesday, the Democrats win every goddamn election in a landslide everywhere, proving that the people had their backs, that the average American was blaming the Republicans for the shutdown and supporting the Democrats' fight for health care. By the end of the week, 7 Democrats and an independent that caucuses with the Democrats had decided that enough was enough and we're going to end the shutdown and get fucking nothing for it. Nothing. 43 days, they let federal workers go without pay. They let people not get their SNAP benefits, and they got nothing for it.
They got a pledge to talk about the subsidies, perhaps.
Right. Well, they got a guaranteed vote in the Senate only. The Senate that has 53 Republicans in it that aren't going to vote to put those subsidies back in. And then Mike Johnson has already said he made no promise to bring this up in the House, so it's not going to go anywhere. Those subsidies are not coming back. It's despicable. Anyway, these are the senators that did that. I don't know. We can guess why some of them did, like Jackie Rosen and Catherine Cortez Masto from Nevada. I'm guessing that the people in Las Vegas were worried that flights weren't coming in and people weren't able to come visit Las Vegas. So maybe that's why they wanted to end the shutdown. Jean Shaheen and Maggie Hassan of New Hampshire. I don't know. I don't know what their thing was. Dick Durbin, Illinois. Tim Kaine of Virginia. He was a vice president candidate in 2016. What a fucking asshole. John Fetterman, he's my senator. We already knew he was a fucking asshole. And Angus King, he's the independent from Maine. Those are the ones that said, you know what? We don't have to get anything out of this. We'll just reopen the government and let the Republicans dictate policy, at least until the midterms. Disgusting. So, James, you want to talk about that little provision that got snuck in?
Yeah, snuck in my ass. John Thune tried to get a $500,000 payday directly for their members of their party. And Mike Johnson's the Speaker of the House, mind you, the Speaker of the House doesn't know what's in the legislation. And
that's what he said. He says he doesn't know anything all the time.
All the fucking time. That's his response to everything. But yeah. I don't even think he said when he made his public declaration that he didn't know about this, that he said that they were going to get it stripped from the bill. They said there's going to be scrutiny. He said there's going to be scrutiny of it, but I don't know where.
It wasn't stripped from the bill. It was passed with that in there. But just to be clear, those 8 Democrats in the Senate that we just named, they voted for it too. They voted for, so they can claim they didn't know about it or they voted for it. Now, what we're talking about is the FBI subpoenaed phone records of some Republican senators in relation to the investigation into J6, right? And 8 of those senators, because of this bill, can now sue the Department of Justice for $500,000 for each violation. So each record that was searched of theirs that they weren't told about beforehand, they can get $500,000 for it. I mean, I saw one lawyer calculate that it could be up to 3 or 4 million for each of these people if they were to sue. Unfortunately, because of all the pushback, the vast majority of them said they have no intention to sue and seek this compensation, except for one asshole, Lindsey Graham. He plans on suing and is trying to get paid from this.
I saw that. Fucking clown.
Fuck that guy. Anyway, the senators that participated in planning of J6, come on, sue me. Marsha Blackburn, Bill Hagerty, Lindsey Graham, Josh Hawley, Ron Johnson, Cynthia Loomis, Dan Sullivan, and Tommy Tuberville. Those motherfuckers participated in the planning and execution of the J6 insurrection, and now they're trying to get paid for it.
Well, it's the same as I mean, this is a few weeks old now. Trump suing the DOJ to allegedly recoup however many millions it cost him to defend himself in cases that, by the way, either he was convicted, like in the New York case, or the cases were simply deferred or whatever it was when he became the candidate, when he got elected. You know, it wasn't that he was absolved of anything, and so he's going to extract money from his DOJ because the federal government is his personal fucking Venmo account. That's all it is to him. It's his personal fucking bank account. This is insane.
It is.
What we should talk also, because I don't see it on the hoop-de-doo here. But his base is starting to erode, and it's starting to erode with the person who I have said is the last person to be expected to jump ship from him, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, the behaviors of his are becoming so egregious, and combined with what we're going to talk about next with the Epstein emails, are so indefensible. The evidence is so indefensible that Marjorie Taylor Greene, and by the way, she's not altruistic in this. She's mad that she didn't have his support for her wish to run for governor or whatever the fuck Senate. It was, Senate. But she's turned her back on him completely and is throwing him under the bus, and so he's throwing her under the bus. And he's doing this right now through his social media platform for whatever that's fucking worth. But I contend, and people are contending, that he's going to do this with any Republican that fights him, that turns their back on him. But he's a lame duck. He's a pariah. When we get to the midterms, any fucking Republican candidate that he endorses is going to lose. They're going to lose big. His endorsement is a poison pill. So the idea that he's going to go after Republicans that turn their back on him and go against his wishes, the Epstein stuff is part of that. I don't think it's going to matter. They're still going to turn their backs on him.
I hope you're right. I don't understand why the people in office are still backing him with all this shit.
I know.
I really don't. But anyway, about the Epstein emails. So the government shutdown ended, and that House member from Arizona got signed in. What did she get? Sworn in. She got. It's been hours since I had my last sip of coffee. She got sworn in and became the 218th signature on the discharge petition to get the DOJ to force the vote in the House to force the DOJ to release their Epstein files. Also of note is when that happened, Trump called in all the Republicans that had signed that, which were Nancy Mace, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and someone else. Don't remember. He called all of them in one by one and tried to convince them to take their names off of that, and none of them did.
Yeah.
So anyway, that happened, and then Mike Johnson said, okay, we'll have a vote next week. That's this week coming up. We'll have a vote on that. Then it'll have to go to the Senate if it passes the House, which it seems like it will. In fact, people are saying that up to 100 Republicans will vote yes on that.
That would be a huge sign. That would be an enormous fucking sign.
Yeah. But then you need 67 votes in the Senate because Trump will veto it, of course.
But they need a veto-proof passage in Congress.
Yeah, they're probably going to get it in the House, but the Senate, they need 67 votes in the Senate. I don't know if they're going to get that.
Crazy that there's even any risk that it wouldn't get that. What are we talking about here?
I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about. Well, anyway, but not only that, but Trump then has ordered Pam Bondi to investigate Epstein's connections to Democrats.
There it is. This is exactly what I'm saying, and this is what he's eventually going to pull on any of these Republicans like Marjorie Taylor. Okay, we talk sometimes about what are we going to talk about next week. I think next week we're going to talk about the fact that Trump has asked the DOJ to investigate Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's his last tool to bring his sycophants in line. And right. I think that's what he's going to do next.
Well, the one problem, though, is by having Pam Bondi open an investigation into Epstein and the Democrats, all the DOJ's files are now part of an investigation. And that
locks them up.
Yeah, they're not going to get released, even if the House and Senate have the veto-proof majority to force their release. They're not going to get released.
That's
what this move is. But we do have other information about Epstein because way back in 2018 or something, Ro Khanna subpoenaed the Epstein estate to get their documentation. And that finally came through, and the House Oversight Committee has had these documents for a few weeks now, and they've started releasing them. And no matter what you hear Trump say, it is not Democrats releasing these. It is the House Oversight Committee, which is Democrats and Republicans, and it's led by the Republicans. None of this shit would have got released without the Republicans releasing it, just to be clear.
And in any other timeline, in any other universe, when you have a damning pile of documents that would end the career and possibly the life of at least one prominent individual, the president here, and that person is using all of their power to say, don't look at these, don't look at these, nobody look at these. That action alone would be enough to end his support, the support of him. In any other universe, that's what this would be. But in this universe, no, it's exoneration of him.
Well, in this universe from 2015 and before.
True.
This would have ended any political candidate. This is unique. It's unique since we elected his dumbass the first time.
These are all and there's lots of cult experts that talk about this all the time, and I don't like most of them. But that's a me thing. That this is a characteristic of a deeply entrenched cult. These aren't reasonable, intelligent, critical thinking people. These are fucking drones. These are fucking worker bees. These are mindless sycophants that are participating in the political process, and they have a loud voice, and they're on social media, and they are at the beck and call of this monster that they put in office. It's fucking incredible. This timeline is
It doesn't seem real. But anyway, 20,000 documents were released by the House Oversight Committee this past week. Obviously, I did not read 20,000 documents. I just went to Politico and saw what they read and pulled out some of the most interesting things that they had read and published. So a lot of these were emails. They're emails from Epstein to other people, and from other people to Epstein. Some of the most interesting ones, Michael Wolff is an author who is writing a biography on Epstein or Trump. I don't know. He was writing a biography on somebody. And so they had a lot of emails back and forth. And this was before Trump was president. One thing that I found interesting was that Epstein asked Wolff how they would handle Trump's presidential run. This was in 2015 when he was running for president. And Wolff told him, well, you should just blackmail him with all the knowledge you have of what he's done. That's a weapon. That's what he told him. That's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. Duh.
I come back to something I've said repeatedly before, is that instead of doing that, they went the other way. That the Never Trump guys, you know who that is, and everybody else saw the number of people that were clamoring behind him and saw the number of voters that they probably wouldn't have been able to reach as regular Republicans. They saw those numbers, and instead of indicting him morally and otherwise, they jumped on his bandwagon because of the throngs of people. They need those votes to maintain their offices. That, I think, it comes back to that again.
Well, another thing that was said, Epstein said, of course he knows about the girls. He also said that Trump spent hours at his house, this is at Epstein's house, with a victim whose name was blacked out. Now, KKK airline Levitt said that was Virginia Guffrey, but it wasn't. It wasn't. We don't know who it was because it's blacked out, but it wasn't her, because that happened in 2011, and she had left the United States before that. She was not in the United States in 2011. It couldn't have been her. So it had to be someone else. Either way, it's a teenage victim. It's a teenage victim. And the propaganda wing of the Republican Party, because this isn't MAGA, this is the Republicans, right? It went into overdrive. It started with Megyn Kelly.
Oh, God.
Where she was talking about how raping a 15-year-old isn't so bad compared to raping an 8-year-old. Yes, the fuck it is. It's just as bad. Raping a child is raping a child. There is no distinction. It's wrong. But that's been parroted across social media by all these right-wing podcasters and right-wing grifters. They are fine with child rape as long as they're in their teenage years, I guess. I don't know. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And it feels like it's an organized effort to soften other information that's about to come out.
Yeah, it's about normalizing the aberrant behavior, and that's what they need to do. Is they need to make this normal. They need to make it okay. They need to change the mindset of enough people who, by the way, it isn't going to be hard to change many of those people's mindset into accepting that non-consensual intercourse with a 15-year-old is that, instead of it being rape. This is fucking...
Did you see that guy that called in to Dean Withers and asked him to explain why raping a child is wrong?
Yeah. I saw that. Yeah. Oh my God.
So yeah, Megyn Kelly, by the way, has a 14-year-old daughter. I wonder how she would feel if Trump were raping her daughter.
Somebody brought that up, and I came back with, you're grossly overestimating the degree to which you think she cares about her own children. She would offer up her own child to this person, to these circumstances without blinking. It would be an honorable sacrifice to her. Oh, I just lost my microphone. It'll come back. Anyway, so this is just more of the discuss. The other item that came up in those emails that were released, something ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba.
Yeah, so that was an email from Jeffrey Epstein to his brother Mark Epstein. And the him they're referring to is Steve Bannon. So I guess Mark was meeting with Steve Bannon, and Jeffrey Epstein said, ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. So people pointed out that Bill Clinton's nickname is Bubba. And it just went around social media. Now, first of all, did that happen? I have no idea. Mark Epstein did say it's not about Bill Clinton. It's about a different Bubba. Okay. There is a GOP donator, a real estate mogul, who also has the nickname Bubba. Maybe it's about him. But here's what's crazy. The entire internet is talking about one American president giving a blowjob to another American president. That is fucking insane. That is insane. It doesn't matter if it happened or not. That is being discussed at length.
And in the people who are trying to act in the defense of Trump in this are not contesting the fact that it happened, but to whom it happened, whether it was Bill Clinton or so. And I think the question actually came back to Bill Clinton. Somebody was able to ask Bill Clinton about this, and I don't think he answered it because it's
he smiled. He just smiled. Like, I don't know what that was.
But it did. It took off like wildfire that it was Bill Clinton, and the memes and everything else that went around this. And I'd like to just point something out, and I'm going to get in trouble for this, and I don't give a fuck. There's a lot of people invoking the name of Monica Lewinsky in this. Please leave her the fuck out of this. She was a victim. There was a power differential there, and she was a victim in this, and she never received justice. Leave her out of this, please. Don't the funny puns that are being made and invoking her name. Stop. Go a different direction with this. Have some common sense and dignity, people. I know that's all.
And also, I mean, if Trump is one of those Republicans that's on Grindr, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care at all.
This is what I struggle with in this dynamic under these circumstances and the way the left is running with stuff like this, because this is one of the reasons, and somebody pointed this out to me a long time ago, and it resonated with me and it stuck with me. That's why I don't do things like use phrases like Allahu Akbar in response to trying to shame and intimidate Republicans, because it's using someone else's religion to manipulate somebody, and you're using it as a weapon. And then we get into these things about sexual behavior. And I'm not talking about pedophilia. I'm talking about sexual behavior between consenting adults. As though it's a relevant thing, and yet you have the hypocrisy of the people who are engaged in it. So I struggle with using these circumstances and using what is acceptable adult conduct between consenting adults as some sort of political point. And then I struggle with, how do you point out the hypocrisy? I guess you point out the hypocrisy.
I think it's fair to point out the hypocrisy.
Yes.
I think
and
that's
it as opposed
you don't
to
have to
all
attack the activity. You can attack the hypocrisy.
You stated it much more succinctly than my fractured brain was capable of doing. This is why I keep you in my life, Matthew.
I'm honored.
You're supposed to be the rational one. Oh,
All right.
God.
Yeah, so that was a crazy week, and there's going to be more stuff about Epstein in the this week coming. So we'll probably have more stuff to talk about. People are still going through those 20,000 emails, or I don't know if they're all emails. Also, I heard there might be photographs and videos.
That's coming next. That's coming next. But there's an organization that took those 20,000 emails and put them into a searchable database that you can query.
That's
I don't
true.
remember who it was that did it, but maybe you can put that in the show notes once we find out who it is. But that makes it a lot easier to find relevant points that are in this trove of garbage.
Yeah, there's lots of other names in there too. David Blaine, Peter Thiel. I don't know. There's lots of other names.
My younger son has a.
Go ahead. Yeah, your younger
No,
son.
it's just like you mentioned Peter Thiel, and my younger son has a particular vendetta against Peter Thiel right now because he's doing a lot of reading and research about Peter Thiel and Curtis Yarvin. And he brought up the fact that Peter Thiel looks exactly like the character of Satan in the Constantine movie. And he put up the pictures side by side, and you can't tell which one's Satan and which one's Peter Thiel because he contends that Peter Thiel is Satan.
Yeah. Well, we hate Peter Thiel. That's our official position on that. All right. Anything else of import, James?
I don't think so. This has been an exhausting week, and next week is going to be even worse. The coming week is going to be, there's just going to be insane shit that's going on. In fucking sane. On the lighter side of things, I consume massive amounts of visual media, that being movies and TV shows. I watched One Battle After Another this past week with Leonardo DiCaprio,
I have not watched it, but I have it.
Benny Del Toro, and Sean Penn, surprisingly. I don't know how and why Sean Penn wasn't in the trailers more when he's such a key figure. The movie's fantastic. The movie is utterly fantastic. So I highly recommend it.
I did watch Pluribus. There's 3 episodes now. I watched all 3.
Yes.
It's an interesting story. I'm interested. I'm curious to see where that goes.
I want to point out something about Pluribus and where it's gone so far. In episode 3, you saw the extent to which, I'm going to call them the aliens, even though they're not the aliens, but the people who are the collective hive at this point, going out of their way. What's her character name? Carol?
Yeah.
Carol, right?
Carol and Helen.
Yeah. Going out of their way to keep her happy, and it hasn't been stated outright yet, but it's very much because they recognize that she has massive power over the hive, in that if her emotions get out of control, she gets angry, they die.
Millions of them died in the first episode.
Millions, yeah. And so it's in their survival interest to keep her happy. It's good. This is Vince Gilligan also did Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and Sons of Anarchy. He's fantastic in these stories, in the construction and delivery of these stories. He's an utter mastermind. It's going to be really interesting to see where this series goes. I said when the first 2 episodes came out that this is going to be the next Severance for Apple TV. I'm standing by that because I think this is fantastic.
And maybe, I don't know if the mystery is as deep. It's pretty clear what happened, but why it happened, I guess, is a mystery. I just don't know where it's going to go, and that's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if where it goes in coming seasons, if it gets additional seasons. The code came from somewhere light years away, and if it gets into that and other, facets of the origin of that code, because I don't think it's going to get into that in this series. But yeah, it's a good show.
I agree. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. You can find us.
It's been a week.
Where? We're on your favorite podcast app, and we're on YouTube.
Yes. The Leftist Lens is what you want to be searching for. And
yep.
God help you when you find us, because
I'd like to say hello to our European followers too. We have several over there in France. Hi. And we still got Sergey, whoever in Russia. He's still listening. Boris.
Oh, all right, Matthew. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll see y'all in between.
Yep.
Adios.
Bong.
Bong, bong. All right. My rabbit's going to be angry because I put him back in his pen while I'm